Early in my fragrance journey, I found myself diving into designer fragrances a lot. But one of the fragrances that I heard about the most, especially at the time when I really started to get into it, was Creed's Aventus. Now, my budget wasn't allowing me to buy Creed's Aventus back then, and this was the original formulation of Creed Aventus. So I did what most people did, jump on YouTube and just see what's out there. And one of the things that was just screaming in the fragrance community was clones, especially the clone of Creed Aventus called Club de Nuit Intense Man, which I have right here. I've had several bottles of Club de Nuit's Intense Man at this point, and that's going to bring us into talking about my 5 fragrances that I have from Armaf, and I'm not going to rank them. I think it's a really good house. Armaf was the first inspired by a house that I got into early in my fragrance journey, and of course Club de Nuit Intense being my very first one. But let me say this, I like that Club de Nuit Intense so much that it became like my go-to house to recommend to other people. At this point, I think I became a salesman for Armaf fragrances. I've recommended Armaf to people a lot, and a lot of people have bought bottles based off of my recommendation, and no one's come back to me with a bad word. Now, the more I got into my fragrance journey, the more I started to look at other houses, but I did want to put some respect on Armaf because somewhere along the lines, me and Armaf had a little bit of a disconnect. Not that I disliked any of their fragrances. So many fragrances started coming across my radar that I stopped looking for what Armaf was starting to put out or what more Armaf was putting out. Now, could that be marketing? I don't know. Because I don't really be hearing about Armaf all that much anymore. However, I do know that they came out with a few new lines. They came out with their Odyssey line, they came out with their Niche line, they came out with their Voyage line. But for what I know about Armaf, I know their Club de Nuits. I've recommended Club de Nuit's Blue Iconic, which is their interpretation of Bleu de Chanel. I've recommended Untold, which is their take on Baccarat Rouge 540. I've recommended Milestone, which is their take on Millésime Impérial by Creed. And I've also recommended Club de Nuit Intense Man Limited Edition, which is another, probably like their third take on Creed's Aventus. All of them was a hit. And I'm just like, dang, man, maybe I need to try those. I'm recommended stuff that I don't even try, and it knocks it out the park every time. For Club de Nuit fragrances to be in the range of about $20 to $50, I don't know how they come out with such good quality on a consistent basis. But they do. So I'm going to give you my 5 Armaf fragrances. We're going to start with that Club de Nuit Intense Man. That's your take or their take on Creed's Aventus. Never fails. One thing that Armaf seems to have with it seems to be like their signature thing. Anytime you spray their fragrances on, it gives you like this metallic type of vibe on the opening. It's almost screechy like. I personally like it. I can see how it could be off-putting to some, but that screechy metallic vibe goes away probably in the first 15 to 20 minutes, and then the scent becomes what it becomes. This Club de Nuit Intense Man, it starts off with that. Man, that's damn good. That is good. That metallic citrus, lemon, and almost lime, even though lime's not in the notes, but you get that bergamot and pineapple up top. Now, I know on a dry down, you start to get that birch, which is going to give it, supposed to give it like a little bit of a smoky effect to kind of blend with that pineapple smoky citrus forward fragrance. I absolutely love it. That, again, that's my 3rd bottle of that one. Club de Nuit Intense is probably the fragrance that I have recommended the most. Even if they don't like it as much as some of the other stuff that I've recommended to them, they all pretty much say that's the thing that they've been complimented on the most. So, can't go wrong with a $25 bottle. Up next, we're gonna go with Club de Nuit Intense Man Urban Elixir. I had a bit of a love-hate with this one at first, because I didn't want to fully dive into what people were saying that it was. They were saying that this was a dupe of Dior Sauvage. Now, for those of you who know, Dior Sauvage really is what kicked me off into my fragrance journey. So when they said that this was a dupe of that, I was just like, I don't see it, because it was very fruity. right? At least when I first got it, it was very, very fruity and fresh on the dry down. I would say that it would be like spraying Creed Aventus on top of Dior Sauvage and layering it together. That's what I got at first, because I got a bit of a pineapple note up top. Now, there's no pineapple in this, but I think that it was the bergamot and the florals that are in this that made me think that there was a bit of a pineapple note. I think that's the only thing I could come up with. However, I put this thing away for like, I want to say a year and a half. Didn't wear it, right? Because I had other stuff that was, that I felt was kind of similar to it. Namely, what I'll talk about in the next one. But I put this on the other day, a couple days ago, right? Because I read everybody is saying like it's like Dior Sauvage. So I said, you know what? I'll give it another shot. I sprayed it on. Bang, 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 bang. I oversprayed. Bad mistake. I oversprayed, right? And then I went to the store. I went to the liquor store. And at first, I got that fresh, fruity vibe from it. Citrus, mainly. Citrus and fruity, fresh, same thing. I got that off top, right? By the time I got outside, this thing really started turning into Sauvage. I don't remember that smelling like this when I first got it, and in that first couple of months of me having it. I don't remember it smelling like this. That peppery vibe started to come through. It turned into that peppery, fresh vibe that you get from Dior Sauvage that I absolutely fell in love with. And it just got extremely fresh, extremely peppery. And the difference is, and I'll probably make a video about this, a standalone video, but the difference between the two is that the Sauvage is a lot more pepper fresh forward, very light on the citrus is bergamot. Whereas this is very citrus off top. And once the citruses go away, that's Dior Sauvage in the bottle. That thing was screaming off my skin. Okay, I probably did like 6 sprays. It was screaming off my skin so much that when I was in the store, there was a lady cashing out, right? Cashing out her stuff. I purposely stood about 20 feet away from her because I said, if I get any closer, I'm going to choke her out. With the fragrance, that is. With the fragrance. I said, I can't get no closer. I gotta stand back here. I don't want to offend nobody. Because this was pumping. It's like, yo, I gotta dive back in. Now, my dent is about right here. So we got some work to do with that. As promised, up next, Club de Nuit Precieux 1. Club de Nuit Precieux is their take on Aventus Absolute or Absolute Aventus. I've never smelled that. What I will say is that thing is marvelous. It kind of takes the best characteristics of a lot of the Club de Nuits and just puts it into a bottle and blends it so perfectly. Off top, citrus, fresh. Then you get to the middle of it, you start to get some florals, and the blends just drip down to the base. Pause if necessary. But you start to get your florals, and then by the time you get to the base of that thing, Jesus Christ, there's got to be other words. By the time you get down to what it's supposed to become, then you start to get that caramel vanillic vibe that just melts into your skin. So on your skin, it's one scent, but out in the air, that fresh citrus is still out there. This is one of those where like you spray it on, you smell it, you say, oh, all right, it's there, but I don't think it's really pumping. Next thing you know, somebody that's a few feet behind you telling you, hey man, you smell so good. Actually, I was about to lie. I get complimented on all of these. Armaf is probably the house that I get complimented on the most. But that Club de Nuit Precieux, look, if I could recommend any of these to buy, they all have their different reasons. They all have their different vibes. I would go with that Club de Nuit Precieux 1 first. But on the topic of something that I get complimented on the most, again, I get them complimented on, it's like the same. But Club de Nuit Sillage, this is probably my favorite scent out of all of them. Again, metallic. But there's like this metallic violet note in here, along with iris and citruses. Let me put that in the air. 2 sprays in the air. This is their take on Creed's Silver Mountain Water. Bro, that's good stuff. I think I already did an okay job explaining what it is. Citruses, lime, lemon, violet leaf up top. On the dry down, you're gonna get more of your florals, your iris, your rose, and then once it becomes a skin scent, after about 10 hours, you're gonna get your musk and your sandalwood, and I love me good sandalwood. And the ambroxan is just pumping throughout the entire lineage of this thing. That is Club de Nuit, my favorite. It's my personal favorite. But again, with Armaf, you're gonna get complimented on everything. Now, for those of you who wanna really soften it up, really want women's attention, or you give them that hug and they're gonna say, I wanna wear that too. Armaf's Très Nuit. Again, metallic up front. Oh man, that's good. Metallic up front. That right there, that atomizer is not the greatest, but that's their take on Creed's Green Iris Tweed. On this one, you get powdery lavender, very lavender iris, almost fabric softener fresh. This is like fabric softener in a cologne bottle. Can I say that? I think fabric softener in a cologne bottle is the best way to describe Très Nuit. It smells so, like, you know, when you take that fresh load of laundry out of the dryer and you put that lavender fabric softener in there with some iris. Yeah, I don't know what iris smells like. On it dry down, when it gets to a skin scent, you get your woody nuances. I think you get some sandalwood in there. It's just such a smooth scent. But it's one of those fragrances that you just wanna hold it. You wanna hug it. It's one of those, man. And I'll tell you, this is probably the most expensive one. When I got it, the price hadn't fully dropped, but now you could get this for about 45 bucks. Everything else on here you could get for about, I think this Très Nuit you could get for like $17 now. This is the bottle this is my original bottle. It's about down to about right here. That's the original bottle that I got back in about 2018. But these other Club de Nuits, you get them for about $20-$25, man. These are easy buys. I may have links for them down in the description. If you do check them out, they will be affiliate links of mine. But yeah, that's my small journey through Armaf. I'm mad that I kind of stepped away from their fragrances. It's just that I don't hear about them much anymore. But I do need to dive back in.